I swear, San Francisco's politicians, I have no idea what they're doing. Honestly, it's not a San Francisco thing. This is a California thing. Like all these laws that they pass, it kind of like increase the amount of criminals that are being more brazen. Like they straight up, literally breaking into people's cars during the daytime. They don't care. But anyway, that's not the story that I wanted to talk about. This is actually a separate story that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in just a few seconds here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Literally, if you want anything done, you literally have to be a vigilante in the state of San Francisco. I was gonna say in the state of San Francisco, but yeah. Anyway, just get that.
In and around the Bay Area,
Hmm.
that's kind of messed up. He's one of more in
Let
and
me
around
take
the
that
Bay
back.
Area, that's kind of messed up. He's one of more than 10,000 people whose car has been broken into so far this year in Oakland. But his story doesn't end with the shattered glass you see there on Broadway. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley.
I'm Larry Beal. That man, he had attached trackers to $24,000 worth of camera gear that was stolen that day. But what happened next was very frustrating, not only for him, but for all of us who really care about public safety as well as quality of life here.
Yeah, no question about it. Ag Team reporter Dan Noyes is here to pick up the story.
I feel like starting from like because leadership starts at the very top. Okay, it starts at the very very top. It starts from you know our leadership in the state of California, obviously our governor is Gavin Newsom. So that's the main guy, right? And then you go down, every state has their own laws that they can pass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the politicians in San Francisco are literally l- letting the criminals run wild there. Literally, it's like a free for all. I've seen countless videos online where all these businesses have actually shut down and they closed down because they're tired of losing money, losing revenue because people are breaking into their stores, stealing merchandises and different stuff. What's the point of having a high end store when you can't sell shit when because people are breaking into your store and stealing all your merchandise? Consistently always happening. There's no point. I would have just same thing. I would have just closed the business and moved somewhere else.
Well, Larry and Dan, through an app on his phone, he watches his gear go across the bridge into San Francisco to what an officer called a known fencing operation. If it's a known fencing operation, why haven't they shut it down?
I'll tell you why. 'Cause they don't care. They don't care. They don't give a shit about you or me. They care about just making their money. They don't give a shit. Why risk it? If they know about it, they know. They know. They even admitted it. He said it. It's a known fencing place. This is where they broke into this guy's Tesla, stole about 24,000 worth of equipment, and then they took it because he didn't have a chance to put insurance on his camera equipment or whatever because he just purchased it. But he did have a tracking device on his camera equipment. So he was able to track and see exactly where it went. And it happened to go to this one spot that's known to be a fencing where you can, you know, go over there and sell your stolen goods for cash or whatever.
This couldn't have come at a worse time for Justin Schuck. He was rebuilding his life after losing everything, including his successful advertising agency, because of a substance abuse issue. 4 years of clean living later, he bought camera gear, enrolled in the master's film program at SF State, and started taking video production jobs, including one in Oakland 2 weeks ago.
I've just been driving through downtown and I
Yeah. So he's literally just starting to build his life over again after recovering, which is huge. I definitely commend him for doing that and trying to fix his life, go to the right path. But unfortunately, this is another major setback to the progression that he's been making. You know what I mean? So
was like, isn't Oakland beautiful? Like, I love Oakland.
Justin thought he had done enough to hide the gear in the trunk of his rented Tesla while he had lunch on Broadway, just across from the YMCA. But he came out to find this. Windows shattered, his camera, lenses, and drone gone. Justin had just bought the gear and hadn't had time to insure it.
I literally felt like the pit of my stomach drop. I knew that the equipment wasn't in.
And that's heartbreaking. You know, that's heartbreaking. There's so many things that you can think of that you should have did. Like, what if I had put it in the front or put it here, or you know, there's just nothing you could have done. Unfortunate, and the most unfortunate thing is the police aren't doing shit about it. They know that place is a known fencing place, but they're not doing anything.
Insured.
Mm.
So to have it gone so soon after buying it just was devastating.
Usually in these cases, it's smash, grab, and gone. You have little chance of retrieving your property. But Justin had hidden tracking devices inside his gear cases, and on a phone app, he watched the criminals travel from Oakland into San Francisco.
It was on Post Street, right? And it's literally moving.
He's on the phone with a San Francisco police officer when he sees his camera gear arrive at this location in the 300 block of Leavenworth.
Okay, so here's a little sidebar. I've seen something similar to this where this guy's vehicle gets stolen. I think it was a Tesla or some other vehicle, but he was able to track that vehicle. He knew exactly where it was parked in some sort of parking like in a garage, and he told the cops about it. Cops couldn't do anything about it. They didn't want to do anything about it. He could literally show them, like, art is right here. Why aren't you guys doing anything about it? Completely, utterly useless. Useless. Getting paid all that money for what? Not a goddamn thing. But anyway.
And he goes, oh yeah, that's a known major fencing operation. Everybody in the Bay Area knows that they can bring their stolen goods and offload them there. Think about that.
But that's what he said?
That is what the officer said to me on the phone.
Justin used to live in the area and he knows it well.
And it's a block and a half, not even a block and a half, from the Tenderloin police station. How are you not raiding that place on a daily basis?
I had the same question, so I walked by the location of the alleged fencing operation to the Tenderloin police station and called its captain, Sergio Chin. He did not return my messages. I reached an SF... Useless.
This guy needs to be voted out of office. Pretty much a majority of the politicians in San Francisco need to go. Just get rid of everybody and vote in new politicians to come in to clean up San Francisco, because San Francisco has been just... I mean, they were already on a downward spiral because of, big tech companies that are in San Francisco driving up the real estate costs all the way up. But now you have this whole situation that's going on, and the police aren't doing shit about it. They don't care. They don't care unless it's happening to one of theirs. That's when they'll do something about it. But when it happens to one of us, they don't give a fuck about us, man. They don't care.
Person who would not comment on the Leavenworth site, but emailed, "At this time, we cannot disclose any information on the location you referred to based on possible ongoing investigation."
Yeah, right. Yeah, I ain't doing a goddamn thing.
Supervisor for this district, Dean Preston, not only about the possible fencing operation, but also about this mess that has taken over part of the street and sidewalk. He said he didn't have time for an interview, but texted, "Our office has repeatedly engaged departments about the various challenges on the 300 block of Leavenworth, and our understanding is that this block is part of a joint field operation that includes various departments and the SFPD."
The city has made no noticeable progress.
Just yesterday, Preston chaired a committee about the car break-ins and updated an anti-fencing reward program set up by Mayor Breed 2 years ago.
It's not doing anything. Spoiler alert. The bill that she passed, giving somebody up to $100,000 for snitching on somebody that's selling or buying stolen goods. So far, nobody has claimed it. Nobody's talking. Nobody's doing anything about it. So if that's not working, obviously you have to switch it up. You know what I mean? You have to switch it up, change it to something else. And my camera turned off, but it's whatever. Change it, come up with a new solution, because the one you have right now is not working. All right? Whether it is increase the amount of police traffic, get somebody there that will actually do something and crack on these so-called fencing areas that you know that that's a fencing area. So do something about it. If that person that you've hired to fight crime isn't doing his job, get him the fuck out of there. Get somebody else.
$100,000 for information leading to an arrest of those dealing in stolen goods. Preston said no money ever has been paid out as part of the rewards program.
But it's also, I think, important to circle back and look at what's working, what isn't.
Frustrating times for Justin Shuck, someone who lived in Oakland and now calls San Francisco home.
I mean, I honestly think it's time for new leadership at like every level, because this has gone on long enough. And I'm sick and tired.
100% agree with you, Preston. Couldn't agree more. You are 100% right. We need new leadership at the very top, starting at the very, very fucking top, all the way down to the chief of police and all the way down to the police officers. Because if the officers aren't doing anything and the police chief isn't holding the officers accountable, then what's the point? And if the police chief isn't holding the officers accountable, and the mayor or whoever's on top of the police chief isn't holding the police chief accountable, or the city council, then you need to get those fucking people out of there and put new people in that'll get stuff done. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. It's not the kind of world we live in. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. We'll leave a link to the YouTube video right here below. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm out.